right, everybody, welcome to this episode of Invest with Pete, our live stream. Okay, so guys, you will have noticed that this few weeks I'm doing live stream a bit more frequently. And for those of you who are in my online exclusive subscriber community, right, at Stock Market Genius, you know that I've been updating you guys more frequently, and that is because I know right now the market is so volatile, right, and it's very uncertain, and I think it's important for every one of you, right, to really have that peace of mind when you are investing. And being someone who has been through a crisis kind of like this, my fourth rodeo already, right? Okay, I think I have in some position, right, to give you guys that level of certainty over here. Okay, so let me just check that the audio is fine, everyone is good. Okay, so guys, before we start, if you can hear me, all right, type in yes in the chat. Okay, so let me just say hi to some of you. All right, Naresh is here. Okay, hi Naresh. All right, Melanie is here as well. Michael is here as well. Okay, fantastic. You guys can hear me clear, loud and clear. Okay, so let me just jump straight into tonight's live stream. I don't want to take up too much of your time, right? And because we know the market is going to open in half an hour, right? But the one main thing I want to emphasize right now is, hey, we are officially in this so-called a bear market, right? Okay, but how do we see ourselves investing? In what way should we invest? Okay, all right. So that is tonight's topic about what do we want to invest. And later on, from at the second half of this live stream, I will share with you actual trade ideas. Okay, that you can actually take home and think about it. All right. Okay, let me see. Okay, let's see who is here. All right, Tilin is here. Hello. All right, Mike is here as well. PS. Okay. So for those of you in SMG, you have already got the trade ideas that I posted early on today. All right, so later on I'll be updating if I manage to get it at a slightly different price. Okay, so just a very quick one for those of you who are not aware, I run an online community, right, whereby it's an online course plus I also run as a community to give you guys guidance in terms of investing, right? So I will give you guys trade ideas, and every month I will also give like my stock on spotlight. That means the company that I really like as well. Okay, so but today the focus is not on that, but for those of you who want to know, that is called Stock Market Genius. But today I want to look at how can we invest in this bear market. Okay, all right, so let me just dive straight into it. Okay, so the standard usual disclaimer, let me just put it out there first so that everyone is well aware of it. Okay, all right, standard disclaimer. None of what I say here is investment advice, but the important thing is to guide you guys so that you can make the decision for yourself in a way that is confident. Okay, I think right now the main issue for many investors is that the confidence level is not very high, right? Every time you go into the market, you will see that, hey, just when you think the market is good, then it's going to fall down 2% tomorrow. And just when you think the market is bad, then guess what? When Trump says something, and then the market is going to go up like 10% or so, right? So I'm going to show you guys what are the things that I'm looking at right now and why I am confident of potentially a market bottom in the very, very near term. Okay. Now I can tell you, I am probably the very few people that talks about we are nearing a bottom, because I can tell you out there, the fear is real, right? And a lot of the bears started to come out and prowl to tell you that, wow, the market is going to collapse. This is not the end. We're going to get even worse. Yada, yada, yada. But based on my experience, right, I'm going to show you some statistics as well and some data as well, why I think we could be nearing a market bottom. And I want to show you how do you position yourself, all right, and what do you invest in when you are at a market bottom in a bear market. Okay, all right. And today's episode actually is sponsored by Webull. All right, so later I'll be using Webull as an ad platform to show you how to look at all the trades, how to find out all the information. And if you want to open a Webull account, right, the link is in down below here, right? That is going through the, what do you call this? The carousel right now. Okay, so the link is over there. Okay, now let me just go straight into the first one. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you guys is this thing called VIX. Okay. Now, guys, do you know what is VIX first in the first place? What is VIX? Can you guys type in the chat, right? What is VIX? Okay, what is VIX? Or what do you know VIX as? What do you know VIX as? Yeah. Okay, very good, right? So a lot of people associate VIX with fear, right? But actually, it's not fear. Okay, VIX stands for Volatility Index, and you can see over here, this is the broad term volatility index, and you can see very few moments in our history we have a very elevated VIX component here. Okay, so PSA, the fear index, absolutely. Okay, but actually it talks about volatility. That means how much the prices are swinging. Okay, and you will see the VIX spike up a lot when there's a price swing downwards because the market always fall very quickly but climbs a bit slower. Okay, right? So number one is you can see that in 2008 we have this VIX that is above 50. Okay, and then we have another moment that is in 2020, right? And that is COVID. Okay, and most recently, once again, we have something that's above 50. So this is not a common event, right? It only happens a few times in the history. And the question is, why do we want to look at VIX compared to S&P 500, or we call it SPX, right? Is that if you dig out the statistics, right? So I got this from Creative Planning, right? And they had a really good research done on VIX. Okay, so basically, he went to dig out all the VIX. So this might a bit small. Let me just zoom myself down here. Okay, all right. So you can see over here what he did was that he find out all the periods going back to I think year 2000 and before 2008. Okay, whenever there's a VIX spiking above 50, okay, right? So the highest VIX close, what he did was he tracks what is the S&P 500 returns into the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years. And you will notice one thing is that everything is green without exception. Every single time it is green. Okay. So what does it tell us here? Is that when you see that the VIX spike up a lot, right, above 50 in a period, is usually a very good sign that we are close to the bottom, or at least somewhere near the bottom, because subsequently the stock market will go up tremendously from here. And this is something that Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said. He did say that it looks like the VIX is picking out, and the market is reacting accordingly. Now, I do not think Scott Bessent is trying to give us a stock tip or something, but he is probably looking at the same stats as well and saying that, hey, if the VIX goes above 50, you'll probably get a very good chance of improving your odds, right, by starting to invest. Okay, all right. And over here, what we found is that this is from another Twitter guy called Subu Trade, right? So what he did was he combined the data into even more stringent criteria. So he said, what would the S&P 500 do if the VIX is above 45 for 3 days in a row? So it is even rarer than what we saw earlier on. Okay, and what he found is that if you have 3 VIX in a row that's above 45, one thing that I want you to prepare yourself is this. While we are seeing a sea of green over here, this data also tells us that if we see a volatility event like what we saw previously, where the VIX actually went up 3 times in a row above 45, we do expect a few weeks of price volatility. As serious as, for example, in 2008, we actually had a 19% drawdown. 19. Okay, 19% drawdown after the event happened. Okay, so while I believe that we are probably near the bottom, but just take note, nobody can time the bottom, and if the market were to go down another 10%, it is well within expectations. Okay, but I will be really, really surprised if we are not close to the bottom, as in 1 year later from here, the market is not already on a recovery path. I'll be really, really surprised, statistically speaking. Okay, so there are many other information out there, but I think VIX is one of the most reliable one because it directly tells you the sentiment on the ground right now. Okay, the sentiment of how are people feeling right now. All right, in fact, if you want to find out the sentiment, there's another indicator that you can look at, which I often use, and that is the CNN Fear and Greed Indicator. Okay, and we are at 14. Okay, now the lowest we have gone on this indicator, I think, was a couple of weeks back, a couple of days back actually. Right, it was 4. Okay, so now we are at 14. It was previously 1 week ago, it was 8. Right, so the whole environment is still very fearful. And if history is anything, it tells us that whenever the market is so fearful, there's usually a lot of opportunity as well. Okay, so today we're going to talk about what are the opportunities to look at, right? And if you look at the S&P 500 right now, I just want to go through with you guys some technical analysis, right? So if you look over here, this is S&P 500. We had a kind of like a waterfall moment, right? But right now, what we see is that we had a very nice bounce off the 200-week moving average. We are still on the uptrend right now, okay? Right? Maybe if I show you the actual chart, it will be a bit easier, right? we are still on the actual uptrend. Nothing has changed, right? So we have fallen 21%. But guys, I want you all to take note is that since that 21%, okay, right? Let me just draw it out for you. From the bottom of it, actually the S&P 500 has already gone up by 13%. Do you know that? Right? So a lot of people keep saying, well, we're in a bear market, but do you know that 2 weeks ago to today, if you started investing 2 weeks ago when the VIX was super high, the S&P 500 would have gone up by 13% already. Okay? And that is something that I've been reiterating to the Stock Market Genius community is that this is the main reason why you do not want to be jumping in and out of the market like a monkey, right? Because you can never truly time the bottom. In fact, if anything, by the time you see the stock market fall in front of your face, it's already too late. So what you can do and what I've been doing is that just dollar cost average and buy in further, right? Of course, you might want to hold back a bit of options trade, like what I've been telling the Stock Market Genius group, right? That we're not going to do any options trade or any aggressive options trade until we see something that is clearer. But one thing is this: you can start buying shares, right? You can start buying shares to give yourself a very good start when the bull market returns, okay? Right? So this is the S&P 500 over here, right? And we are already 13% from the low, okay? And that is after Trump announced NVIDIA, have a $5.5 billion write-off charge and the market fell, right? And we are still above 13% from the low, all right? But however, okay, pardon me, I'm having a cold, so my voice is a bit weird, okay? Okay, the next thing is that, hey guys, hey Pete, what if I'm still a bit fearful of the market? I think the market possibly can go down from here, right? Okay, so guys, I want you to type in the chat, what do you think is a good alternative for you to start investing? What is potentially a good alternative for you to start investing in? Okay, all right, let's see. Okay, Calvin say, yeah, Trump is very noisy, okay? All right, okay. Yeah, market sentiment. Okay, so it's always about looking at the market sentiment. If the volatility is high, just take note, the history is on your side. The history is on your side in terms of you making profit over here. Okay, all right. Okay, so number one, like some of you wrote down, okay, possibly ETF and possibly bonds. Okay, so let me talk about bonds first. All right. So can I consider bonds? Okay, I would say right now, just be very careful with bonds because the traditional 60-40 portfolio has kind of not worked already. Okay, so what is this 60-40 portfolio? Is that previously people will say, hey, I'm going to put 60% into stocks, okay, right, and 40% I'll put into bonds, okay. And why is that the case? Because usually when the stock market goes down, right, we will expect the bond market to go up, and this will balance the portfolio. And vice versa, right? When the stock market goes up, the bond market will go down a little bit because there's money flowing from bond market to the stock market. So therefore, your portfolio can kind of like, sit on this seesaw and not be too affected, right, at all times. However, what do we see recently? Okay, is that you want to be a bit more careful with bonds because this is the S&P 500, okay, versus what we call TLT. This is the ETF for bonds, right? So the ETF for bonds is the one in pink, right? So this is TLT, right? And this is the S&P 500. And you can see, usually, right, is in the opposite direction. But however, recently, the last couple of weeks, actually both of them are dropping together, right? So it really kind of removes the need for this 60-40 portfolio. It really doesn't work anymore. Okay, so if you're buying bonds, just be very careful. There was a lot of rumors about, China coming in to take over the market by selling a lot of US treasuries. Japan is also rumored to be selling US treasuries. So there might be a lot of downward pressure on US treasuries, okay, US bonds. So just be very careful if you think that bonds is a very safe haven. Personally, I do not feel that bond is a very safe haven over here. Okay, now instead of bonds, if I just want something stable, I want something that can, give me good returns, I would not consider bonds over here, right? What I will consider is this, okay? I will look at, sorry, what is this? Let me just double check. Okay, I will look at this. I will look at MMF, right? Now, what is MMF? MMF is basically money market fund, right? So instead of bonds, what I will do is I will just look at money market fund, because essentially what I'm doing is that if I buy bonds, I actually just want the value to stay, right? And not to continue to depreciate over here. So what I'll do is I will instead buy money market fund. These guys invest in very, very short-term savings account, treasury bonds, 3 to 4 months, right? And they're still giving pretty good yield, right? So for example, the US money market fund by Fullerton and CSOP is giving about 4.3% and 4.1%. That's way above what the banks can give me, okay? And if you are afraid of currency risks, okay, potentially maybe Sing dollar will do a lot better than the US dollar, right? What you can do is you look at the SGD money market fund by Lion Global, okay, or the one by Fullerton over here. They are giving slightly lower returns, and that's because Singapore money market fund is traditionally lesser, right? But it's still giving about 3.2 and 2.8, so not too bad, okay? And this is something that you can find on your Webull app as well. Now, right now, I would say my preference is to look at SGD. Why? Because if you look at SGD versus USD, actually USD has been weakening. That's why this chart is going up, right? So the SGD is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So just be very aware, right, that exchange risk is also very real over here. Okay, so I will just focus on the SGD. And the good thing about this is this: while you have your money inside the money market fund, I realize is that you can continue to use that to do dollar cost average, right? So over here, this is the regular savings plan that Webull offers. So you can actually use that to buy into the preferred shares you want, be it ETF or individual stocks, right? And you can do it on a regular basis. Okay. So personally, what I will do is I will prefer the Singapore Sing dollars money market fund if I'm not going for yield. But if I want yield, then of course you can go for the 4%. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, Melanie says the CSOP money market fund not bad. Yeah, I really think so. I really think it's not bad. Okay, but just take note, guys. There will be okay. So don't be surprised if it really happens. There will be currency risk. Okay, so don't ignore that 100%. There will always be currency risk. So do your own due diligence. Okay, all right. Celine say, is this net or yield? I believe this is net, if I'm not wrong. Okay, I believe this is net because it's going directly into your account. Okay, so let's see. Okay, tell you what, let me just show it on the screen here. All right, so this is the Webull app. Now, if you don't know where it is, let me just guide you. You can actually click on the top right-hand corner that says Moneybull on the top right-hand corner. Okay, all right, and once you do that, you will come into, you'll go into buying the money market fund. Or what you can do is just go to funds, okay, and you scroll the top over here until you reach money market. Okay, let me just make it brighter for you. Okay, all right, so you can see, it has changed a bit already, right? It's gone down a little bit. So US dollar money market fund now is 4.19, right? And the Singapore one actually dipped below 3% already. Now, guys, I do expect this interest rate to come down further because if you watch what Jerome Powell said yesterday, he's basically saying that the economy is still strong, therefore they are not changing any interest rate. But I do expect the Federal Reserve to start lowering the rates, right? Once the tariff impact on the economy starts to be start to sink in, right? You start to see jobless claim increasing. You start to see a bit unemployment. Start to see a bit of economic weakness, right? That's when you will start to come in. Okay. So over here, let's say you want to use the CSOP USD. What you can do is click on it, right? And right over here, you can see the chart. The yield has been coming down. Let's just be very upfront here. Okay. But at 4%, it is still great. Okay. 4%, it is still fantastic over here. All right. Okay. So this is the one. All right. Let me go back here. Okay. So this is how you can look at your CSOP over here. All right. Okay. Let me hide this for a while. Okay. So let me go back to the slide over here. So why do I do this? In fact, guys, I put most of my money, right, in all these money market fund. Okay. Even though the rates is dropping, but I can tell you, I still put most of my money here. Why? Because it is still better than the banks. Okay. It is still way better than the banks, right? It beats the banks are giving me any interest. But speaking of banks, okay, while we do not get very good interest return on the banks, but guys, do you all know that actually there's something quite interesting about the banks that's happening right now? Okay, right? Do you all follow Singapore banks? Okay, so for those of you who are not watching from Singapore, right? Speaking of banks, in Singapore, one of the largest bank is actually this bank called DBS. Okay, right? DBS is, I wouldn't say it's our national bank, it's a private entity, but it is one of the largest over here. Okay, so so you can see over here, DBS ever since Trump has dropped a lot, tremendously, coming down close to $36, and actually it has gone back quite a fair bit. Now it's about $40. Okay, right? And I do see this as quite a unique opportunity here. Okay, quite a unique opportunity here. Why? Now let me just show you over here, right? So this is the DBS dividend payout, not in terms of percentage yield, but the actual payout itself. That means how much they pay you. Okay, how much they pay out to you. Okay, so you can see over here, what we have is before COVID, it was like, 130 cents, 110 cents, 111, 78. So COVID actually they pull back a bit, right? And then it was 100. Then in 2022, it started to increase. Okay, and right now, last year it was at an all-time high, almost an all-time high at 222 cents. Okay, so this is where after I did a bit of calculation, right, then I realized, hey, this is quite good. This is really quite good. Okay, so why do I say so? Is because you can actually look at it and say, hey, if I assume that the dividend were to cut by 50%, that means it go back down to 110 cents. Okay, my dividend yield will just be 2.8%. That means in the worst case scenario, I am able to invest in the most, I should choose my word correctly. I would say they're the largest, but they are one of the most prominent bank in Singapore, one of the big three. Okay, and that is me thinking of like the dividend cutting by half. I still get 2.8%. So that tells you actually I'm getting it at a very, very good price. Okay. Another thing is this: if I assume that the dividend maintain, that means my dividend yield over here will be 5.7%. Now, guys, take note, when I'm investing in Singapore, when I get dividend yield, right, I don't need to pay tax. So I'm getting flat out 5.7% when the interest rate is dropping. Okay? So, guys, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Is that I'm not saying that the DBS bank is as safe as money market fund, okay? But guess what? The money market fund come from the bank, right? Okay, so that's all I'm saying. Okay, that the price right now looks very attractive. I'm personally very interested in buying because even if I assume a dividend cut by 50%, I still get 2.8% yield. But if the dividend maintains, I get 5.7%. That means I likely to get something in between, which I think is really good. Okay, and that is me not counting any share price increase at this point in time. Okay, no share price increase at this point in time. It could have been even higher. Okay, it could have been even higher if the share price goes up. In fact, when I was doing this slide 2 days ago, right, the share price was 38. Okay, and now it's 40. Right? That's why today I had to change my slide again. All right. Okay, so so this is DBS over here, right? Now, the thing I want to show you is that, some people say, hey, Pete, I want to wait for DBS to fall all the way down, right? To the 200-day moving average. I would say possible, but very, very unlikely. Because if they were to do that, think about it. The yield will be closer to 6% to 7%, and that will be quite bananas. Okay, that will be really, really quite insane over here. All right. So this is something that you can potentially consider, is that, hey, while the banks are not giving us the best interest, right? How can I reap the best interest out of the bank? Okay, and that is through investing in the bank themselves, right? In fact, this year, I've told the Stock Market Genius community as well, I'm very bullish on the banks because I do believe that once this whole Trump saga is over, when the economy restarts and the borrowing gets started, okay, and we're starting to see a lot of liquidity flowing to the market, right? I do believe the banks will do really, really well in this case. Okay? All right. Okay, so let me just show you on the Webull app over here for better clarity. Okay, so you can see over here, this is DBS, right? And I really like the Webull app because you have a lot of things, right? You can look at the company fundamentals, you can look at their earnings, right? You can look at their ROA, net income, right? So there are a lot of things that you can look at. But to me, the most important thing is the dividend yield. Right now, if you look at the dividend yield, at the bottom here is 0.05, so that's 5%, 5.5%. Okay, so it's not too bad, right? Not too bad. Now, if you don't know when is the cheapest, what is one of the best way to start investing in any company is to just dollar cost average into it. Okay, so let's say if you already have your money in the Webull money market fund, right? What I've been doing is that I will just click on the the RSP. Okay, right. So let me just go back here. Okay, so over here I can look at RSP. Okay, all right, and you can create your own RSP. All right, I'm not sure if DBS has a RSP. Let me see. Maybe not. Oh, don't have. Oh, we can't. Okay, never mind. Let me feedback to the Webull guys, right? Okay. But guys, you can see over here, I've been dollar cost averaging these three. All right. Bitcoin, Gold, and QQQ. This is QLD, QQQ equivalent. Okay. So to me is, hey, I don't want to time the market too much. I just want to start investing. All right. Now the RSP is very interesting because let's say you want to buy into, let's say not 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 DBS, but let's say you want to create. Let's say you want to buy into QQQ. Okay, right? You can select QQQ over here. Okay, and you can select the amount of money that you want. Right now, the payment method you can actually select from either your Webull buying power itself, which is the money in your money market fund, or you can select based on your bank account. Okay, so both works. Right now, the cool thing that I find only in Webull is that they have this thing called the fixed amount, right? Fixed amount and dynamic amount over here. So fixed amount, very simple. You just buy, let's say, $100 per don't know how many days, okay, or per week. So you can choose you want every week, every 2 weeks, or every day. You can do every day, by the way. Okay, every day. All right. So to me, I quite like every day because that means I'm just dollar cost averaging no matter how the price fluctuate. Okay, but if every day is a bit too much for you, don't worry. Okay, that's every week, every fortnightly, 2 weeks, or every month. Now, this is fixed amount. You'll just buy $100 no matter what happens. But there's this thing called the dynamic amount. Okay, and what's the dynamic amount? Is that if you click on this, it's a very long thing, but basically what it tells you is that okay, it tells you is that your actual amount will be based on the investment amount multiplied by the multiplier. Okay, so over here, if the benchmark close is higher than the moving average of this thing, so let's say QQQ moving average, the price close is 0 to 1% higher, right? Then you will invest 100% of what you told it to invest. So let's say $100, you will invest $100. Okay, but in this case, if you see that the market has gone up a lot, let's say up to 20%, 10 to 20%, it will only invest 60% of what it told you to invest. So basically, this system will invest less as the price goes up. So it makes it even smarter for you. Okay, and of course, if you look at the bottom, the opposite is also true, right? If the closing is lower by 6 to 10%, then it will invest more for you. So it is a smart dollar cost average in my mind, right? When the price is lower, then you will invest more, right? In fact, if the price is dropped by 15%, basically the system will say, okay, you tell me invest 100, I will invest 200. So what it means is that you will always buy more at a lower price and you buy less at a higher price. Okay, and that is really, really smart. Very, very good investing. Okay, so that's something that is new. Okay, but guys, let's take note here. However, not all the stocks are eligible for RSP over here. Okay, so just do need to check which one is suitable for your regular savings plan over here. Okay, so let me see any questions. Danum says Webull is only for Singaporeans. I believe no. US, you also have Webull. And also Malaysians, you have Webull as well. Okay, it's not just for Singaporeans. Okay. Okay, SY is asking, is Webull easy to use? Do they have paper account to practice? So yes, they do. Okay, so let me just show you over here. So I'm actually an actual real Webull user, right? So I can show you a lot of things. For example, guys, can you all see over here under trading? Beside the RSP, there is paper trading. Okay, so if you click on it, right, then you are basically set up into a paper account. So over here, paper account, Webull give me 1 million. Right? I'll show you we got 1 million. Okay. And you can look at your stocks. You can go and buy stocks over here, right? Or in fact, you can see you can do options as well, right? And you can track your performance. So yeah, you can do paper trade. Okay. But guys, take note. I would say don't paper trade for too long. The psyche is very different. The psychology is very, very different. So once you're familiar with it, I would say do actual investing is still the best in this case. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me carry on over here. Now, we talk about banks, we talk about bonds, which I'm not a big favorite of. I would prefer money market fund. One more thing is that, hey, Pete, how about options over here? Okay. So guys, let me ask you, right now, when volatility is very, very high, okay, volatility is going through the roof. What is the best option strategy that you can use? What is the best option strategy that you can use? Can you all type in the chat? Okay, can you all type in the chat? Right, what is the best option strategy you can use? Okay, let me just send the link for the Webull so that in case you all want to open an account. Okay. Hey guys, by the way, right now for Webull, they have a promotion. So if you fund $2,000 and you do one trade, I believe, 1 or 3 trades, I can't remember. Okay, you immediately receive $60 straight up, right? Straight away you receive free $60. Okay, all right. So yeah, I've sent the link into the app already. All right, as in the chat already. You can use that link to sign up for your Webull account. Okay, all right. Let me see. Do I actually have the Webull account here? Oh, okay, it's here as well. All right, so let me just send it here. Okay, so you can see over here, right? So it's webull.com.sg/k/invest with Pete. Okay, so let's go back to just now what I was saying. So what is the strategy that you want to be using? Yes, okay, like what Naresh says, fantastic, is sell put. Okay, right? We don't also say sell put. Now, why is sell put so lucrative right now? Let me just show you. When I first saw the numbers, I'm like, wow, this is insane. Okay, but once again, guys, if you are new to options, just take note, you don't have to do this. Okay, make sure you are familiar with options. If you are not familiar with options, you want to learn more about options, do welcome to join us, right, at Stock Market Genius. Okay, all right. Now, how do we look at options over here? Very, very simple. Okay, now guys, let's do it on one of the best performing asset in 2025 first. Okay, now what is the best performing asset that you know? Not a trick question. It should be quite obvious. Not a trick question. Okay, right? What is the best performing asset? All right. Yes. Okay. It is none other than the good old gold bar. Okay, the good old gold bar over here. Now, gold has been one of the best performing because gold prices has been shooting through the roof. Right. In fact, I think this year gold has been up by about year to date. I think it's up by 26% already. Okay. So I've been telling my community that, hey, I'm not a big gold bug, let's be very honest. Okay, I'm not a guy that I'm investing like 50% of my portfolio in gold, but I do have a small-ish allocation, like 5-10%. And then recently during the crash, I told the community I was increasing up the gold allocation as a form of hedge, right, to about 10+%. But if you are into options, okay, so what I can see over here is potentially using sell put to generate very decent premium on gold. Okay, now traditionally, gold has never been a good option for selling put option. Why? Okay, can you type in the chat? Why has gold never been a good option for selling put option? Okay, and that's because usually the gold volatility, the VIX of gold is very low, right? Because gold is so stable, right? But with the current volatility, right? Okay, let's say if you like to have some gold in your portfolio, okay, you want it to be some hedge. You can either buy gold outright, which is the ETF over here, GLD, okay? Or what I'm personally doing is this. I've been selling gold puts, right? And depending on how much you want to bargain for the price, right? You can actually sell it as far away as you want or as close as you want. Okay? So let me just show you on the Webull app over here. Then you can see. Okay, let me screen my phone. Then you all can see over here. Okay, all right. So once you are here, you can go to market, all right, and you just select the magnifying glass, and you can type in GLD. Okay, so GLD is the gold ETF. So this ETF basically it just holds gold, nothing else. There is no other shenanigans that you need to worry about. Okay, right. Now once you are here, okay, you can click on the bottom, which is the green part options. All right, and you can see the full options chain of gold over here. Okay, now you can see that there are very different dates. The expiring date is in the middle. Okay, so over here, what I did was I selected the 25th April, which is sorry, is it 25th April? Let me see. What should I select? Let me see. Maybe I choose a bit longer. 28 April. Let's try 28 April. Okay. And over here, I realize I can sell a 300 put. That means I'm selling 300 put when the current gold price is about 306. That means I'm selling about 2% away. I can still get close to $2. $2, guys. $2. Right? So what is $2? Okay, let's calculate. What's my ROI over here? $2 divided by 300. I'm getting 0.6% return in just a matter of 11 days. Right? So if I were to multiply it, right? If I were to, where is it? Okay, if I were to multiply it to 1 month, then I'm getting closer to about 1 point something percent to 2%. 1 month, on gold. This is quite insane. I usually don't see it to be so good. Usually gold, if I sell a 1 month put option, I get maximum 0.5%. Maximum 0.5% for sell put on GLD. Okay? So let's say if I were to click on the 300 now, okay, right? So over here, I will click sell. Okay, so make sure it's red in color, guys. Right? Make sure it's red in color. I'll click sell. The limit, I'll put limit price, but at the price, you can actually bargain a little bit. So let's say now it's between 1.89 to 1.94, right? So maybe I choose 1.92, somewhere in the middle. Okay? And that's it, right? And over here, you can even see the transaction fee, right? The fee for Webull options, right, is really one of the lowest I've ever seen. It is even lower than IBKR. I just want to be very honest here. Okay, although I'm also quite a heavy user for IBKR, but Webull actually has one of the lowest. So when you add everything up, right, you can see over here it says 70 cents. Right, I don't know if it's clear enough that it says 70 cents over here. Okay, right. Let me. Yeah. Okay, right. So once you are done, you can actually click sell. Then it will proceed to sell the put option already. Now the market has just opened already. So if you you click sell, it will actually go through. Okay. I tell you what, let's do this together. I don't mind buying some gold. Okay. Okay, let's go. Okay. So if I click this, it will confirm with you again. GLD 300, 28 April, 25th, sell put. Okay. So you are selling, right? Limit price is 1.92. Okay. The fee is about 0.7 cents. Okay. So this is just one contract. I'll just do for fun to show you. Okay. And in fact, at the bottom, it even show you that what are you doing? You're agreeing to buy 100 shares of GLD at $300, that kind of thing. So it's quite good options, education also. All right. So over here, the premium I'll be collecting is $192. Right. That is about, if you look at monthly, it's about 2%. Okay. Not too bad. So there you go. I've submitted the order already. All right. So that's it. It's done. Okay. So this is how you can look at selling put option on the Webull platform. Right. And this is, to me, one of the preferred safety trades I like to do because I'm selling put options on something that is already very safe and I'm selling it a bit further away. Right. So the odds of me having any trouble in this is very low. Okay. And even if I have a trouble, okay, over here, right, always plan your trades before you start executing them. So even if I have any trouble over here, right, what do I write here? You can see that should the GLD fall in price, I will just buy it at $300 and I still get to keep the premium, which is a pretty good deal. Okay, so just make sure, guys, when you are selling put options, okay, I'm teaching a bit of options education here. When you're selling put options, make sure you are happy to buy put option at this, buy the shares at this price. So for me, if I want some gold exposure, I already want to buy gold. Instead of buying at the current price of like 306 or 307, why don't I sell put at 300, right? And if it comes down, great, I'll get to buy it. That means I get a bargain. If I don't get to buy it, then guess what? I still can milk some premium out of it. Okay? All right. So this is one of the number one trade idea in terms of options trade on GLD, the gold ETF as well. Okay. Okay. Madeline asks, is GLD American style options? Yes. Okay. Yes, it's American style. Okay. All options that I'm doing here are American style. All right. I don't really do European style. Okay. Okay. So, okay. So another thing is this right now, the market is also having a massive sale. I don't know how many of you view it as that. I know the market is very volatile, you are very worried and things like that. Okay, but I do view it as a very, very good sale period. And to me, the best sale period is good for us as long-term investors because we want to buy good businesses, okay, at a low price. Okay. And one of them that I think continuing to be very good and the price is getting more and more and more and more and more attractive, okay, is Nvidia. Okay. So Nvidia got let me show you here. So Nvidia got penalized by Trump, right? Okay. It got played by Trump. Okay, it got played by Trump. So right now, Nvidia opened up the market. Actually, is down a little bit. Okay, down by how much? 1.8%. Okay, right. So this is the weekly chart. Okay, but to me, I find Nvidia quite attractive because it is still a very good business. Okay, now what is the latest problem with Nvidia? Just happened yesterday only, all right? Then the stock market just bam. Okay, right. And is this right? It talks about Nvidia stock diving because the chipmaker sees a $5.5 billion hit, right? Based on the surprise China chip control. Okay, so what is going on here? Basically, Trump said that, hey, Nvidia, you cannot sell the high-end chips. So the H100, H200, you cannot sell it to the China. So what Nvidia did was, hey, then I sell the lower-end chips, right? So they have this series called the H220 that they wanted to sell to China. Okay, but right now, Trump is basically saying, hey, no, wait. Even if you want to sell these low-end chips to China, you need to apply for a permit. Okay, so on that news, Nvidia straight away come up with a statement and say we're going to write off the whole inventory of the H20 chip by 5.5 billion. Okay, all right. But guys, let me ask you, and you type in the chat your own thinking, okay? Don't be influenced by anybody. Did Donald Trump say you cannot export, or did he just say that you need to apply for a permit? Okay, right? So what does this mean? That means when Nvidia say they're going to write off the whole inventory of 5.5 billion, are they really being honest here? Or they are just expecting the worst case scenario? Okay? Think about it very carefully. Are they being honest or are they giving a worst case scenario? Okay? So you type it in the chat, right? To be very honest, if I'm the Nvidia CEO of Nvidia, right, I will do the same. I want to under-promise and over-deliver, right? So when the chip control news announced, I will just say that, hey, guys, guess what? I'm so poor thing. Okay, I'm not going to export all these to China. I'm going to take them and throw them into the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, is that true? How about them selling the H20 chips to other nations? Is China the only place that wants chips? Could it be other countries wanting it as well? Right. So to me, it's a kind of like a worst case scenario kind of prediction over here, right? And a few things to note. So number one is that I do not think that the 5.5 billion is a total loss. I don't think so. Okay, very likely they will have some that can eventually still export to China so long the application approved. Even if the whole application is not approved, guess what? They can still sell H20 to other countries. So I don't know what's the issue here. Okay, and with Donald Trump, he's already negotiating terms with a lot of other nations. So yes, China still has a tariff of like 200 and don't know how many percent number there. Okay, but other countries are actually changing already. So I do not see this as a total loss. Maybe it's a write-off of 3 billion or 2 billion, I don't know, but definitely not 5.5. Okay, so once the license is done, I think it'll be better. And one more thing is this. This is a once-off event. Okay, once-off. It is not an ongoing write-off, right? And to give you a perspective how insignificant this is, right? Okay, you just look at the total revenue of Nvidia in the last 2 years. Okay, 5.5 billion one-time write-off from 60 billion in 2024 and 100 and okay, let me just erase this first. and 130 billion. Is it such a big deal? Does it warrant a 6% drop in the stock market? I don't know. If it's an ongoing 5.5 billion, like how Alibaba has to keep on paying China, right, for the prosperity tax, then yes, I think it does warrant a 6% dip. But this is not. This is a once-off write-off. Okay, Nvidia is not going to be so stupid to continue to produce H20 chip if they know that they cannot export this to China anymore, right? So I don't see this as a very, very big problem here. Okay, so another thing to take note is that I think one of the reasons why Trump is very worried is that right now China is producing really, really fast and advanced chip on their own. Okay, So Huawei actually has a chip that is said to outperform the NVIDIA chip already, the Blackwell chip already. So China is really catching up in terms of the hardware, right? And over here, it says the NVIDIA H20 restriction could be a shot in the arm for the China AI chip, okay? Because right now, the local businesses cannot buy from NVIDIA. They have no choice but to buy from Huawei. So actually, it's really, really good for Huawei as well. So sometimes all these trade tariffs, we're not quite sure what's happening, right? But to me, is this the demand, right, will always be there. It is just where is it shifting towards, okay? And if, I think right now, so the bit of politics talk, I think if Trump gets away with what he wants to do, his plan is to isolate China, all right? And if he does, then I think NVIDIA is going to have even more advantage because it's going to export to the rest of the world, okay? So regardless, I think for NVIDIA, even if right now they don't get to export to China, it's not something that they have not dealt with before. They have been having this problem of not giving the most advanced chip to China for the longest time, right? In fact, I think there was some rerouting of the NVIDIA chip from other nations to China, right? So I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but I'm just saying that the world is very dynamic, it's very flexible, right? Things can happen again. And ultimately, I think NVIDIA still has a very, very strong advantage in terms of chip technology going forward over here, okay? But the most important thing is that, do you know, actually, NVIDIA from the recent low has already gone up by 31%, you know. 31%, okay, from the recent low. So guys, even with Donald Trump backstabbing them, okay, a good company is a good company, right? A good company will continue to do well, right? And that's also one of the reasons why I think maybe we are seeing the tail end of this current correction, or people call it a bear market, because we are starting to see the strong businesses rebounding really, really hard. S&P 500 rebound by 12 to 13%. NVIDIA did more than twice of that already. Okay? So just be very aware if you're still seeing the tune of the bear market, right? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, but historically, when the VIX is very high going forward, I know my odds are high to succeed. So I want to be the correct side of investing. All right? Now that we know about NVIDIA, hey, Pete, how can we do options trade on NVIDIA? Can we do that? Okay, so let me just bring up this, okay? And then we can take a look. Okay, so over here, very simple. Type in NVIDIA, NVDA. Okay, so you can see NVIDIA today fell by 2%, so it's 102 right now. Just go to options. Okay, right, and you can see there are many different expiry dates. Okay, so just choose the one that you like. So for me, I'll just choose maybe 29 days. Okay, because you can see over here, the 29 days, which is the 16 May, is actually the standard contract. Okay, so in the investing world, there is weekly contract and there's standard contract. So on the Webull app, how do you tell that? Is that the standard contract is the one that does not have the bracket W. Okay, the one with the bracket W is the weekly contract. And weekly contract usually have lesser volume compared to the standard contract. Let me just show you here, okay? So I'm going to click on the 9th May one, right? And you can scroll to the volume, right? So you can see the near-term volume, some of the sell put is like 100 plus. Not the biggest, okay? But if I go to the standard contract, it's a few thousands. Okay, it's a few thousand. So generally, I prefer standard contracts because it will give me a better spread over here. Okay, so over here, I'm going to do a sell put. Now, right now, NVIDIA is 104. You can either sell at 100 if you feel that, hey, 100 is a good price, but I want to be super safe. Okay, so I'm doing safety trades today. So how to do safety trades? Okay, guys, type in the chat. What is the strike price that you will want to purchase NVIDIA if given a choice? Okay, right? Which strike price will you want to buy NVIDIA? Is it 100, 95, 90, 85, or 80? Okay, type in the chat. Okay, Melanie say can use vertical spread. Okay, right now, as I understood, Webull does not offer vertical spread yet, but I heard it's in the works. Okay, so once they immediately have it, I'll let you guys know. Okay, it's currently still in the works. Okay, so Zena says 95, Mike says 80, Jean says 90, Candice says 85. Okay, tell you what, we'll just go for the lowest of what you suggested, 80. Okay, so if you look at 80 over here, right? If I sell a 80 put, okay, I can still get 84 cents, right? It's not bad, no? That is still 1%. And I'm selling it at so far away. I'm selling it at a 20% discount, you know. Okay, so let's just do that. Okay, so over here, I'm going to sell a put option for NVIDIA over here, right? So NVIDIA 80. Okay, so guys, remember, when you sell put options, you need to be willing to buy the shares. Okay, so when you sell put for 80, how much cash must you have in your account to stand by for this event? Okay, now this cash can be in your money market fund or it can be in your pure cash, doesn't matter. Okay, so for me, I like to put it in the money market fund. Right, later I'll show you what is the automatic way to make sure that any money you fund into Webull will go straight into the money market fund. Okay, so over here, I'm selling at 80. So the cash you need is 8,000. Okay, so over here, I'm just going to sell, what's the spread? 81, 82. Okay, now maybe I'll sell 82. Okay, all right, and there you go. All right, so I'm going to sell a put for NVIDIA, $80. So I need $8,000. Okay, very good. I see many of you all got it already. Right, so Mike says 8,000, Melanie says 8,000. Okay, fantastic. All right, let's confirm that. There you go. Okay. Oh, the order is filled already. Can you see it on top? Okay. So, okay, how do you see your orders? Let me just show you. Okay. What you can do is you go to your page, right? And immediately you can see the positions you have. Right. So immediately, can you see my NVIDIA position already? Okay. My GLD position is at the bottom. Right. So these two over here. Right. Now, should you be too worried about the short-term fluctuation of the put option going up and down? No, not really. Okay. So basically, if NVIDIA don't drop to 80, I'll collect my full premium. If GLD don't drop to 300, I'll collect my full premium. Okay. Right. That's as simple as it is. Now, I wanted to show you how to ensure all the money you transfer into your account goes into your money market fund. Okay. Right. So let me just do that. Okay, wait, give me a second. Wait, okay, I just make sure that I'm on the correct page to show you guys. Where is it? Okay, can. Let me just show you now. Okay, so if you go to your menu page, okay, so this is the last tab on the bottom, the menu page. Okay, can you see the Moneybull? Okay, so the Moneybull is here. If you cannot see, you click on more. You should be able to find your Moneybull over here. All right, under the first one in the trading. Okay, so this is your Moneybull. There's a lot of things to explore here, but I won't go through all of them today. Okay, so if you click on Moneybull, what you can do is that you can select the top and you can select activate. So once you activate it, that means any money you transfer into the account will be immediately used to buy the money market fund. So in this case, this is the Fullerton US dollar cash money market fund. Okay. Now, how do you find the Singapore dollars one? Is you go to the top. Okay. You select the SGD, right? Then you click activate. Okay. So right now mine is deactivated because I am not adding additional funds here. But if you have, you can just select activate. All right. And then it will tell you that all your funds will go inside here. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is how you can have your money market fund automatically, all right, invested the moment you find your money into Webull. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me see any questions. Ma is asking, how about selling long puts? You can. Just that, guys, when you sell a very long put, what does it mean is that you lock up your funds for much longer duration. Okay, so it depends on whether you like it or not. Generally, I don't like to sell long puts. I probably sell like a month or so. That will be the max I go. Okay. Okay, so let's continue here. All right. Okay, so that is the main thing over here that I wanted to show you guys. All right. The one of the important things, right, is that, hey Pete, will there be a time for buying call options? Okay. So I've been a big proponent of not selling long-term puts, but I've been a big proponent of buying long-term call options, 2 years, 3 years. Okay. And I'm still a big proponent of that because that has been something that has given me a lot of wealth in the past. Right. So when do we start doing that? Is that I don't think now is the time. Why? Because if you look at the market, okay, let me just show you the main thing about the market, right? Okay, this is S&P 500. Now, when the market is low, right, I think it's absolutely fine if you want to, like, start dollar cost averaging, buying into shares, right? That's fine. Okay, but in order to start using options, I want to see the trend turn more positive, heading upwards properly. Okay, so if I go to the weekly chart, it looks pretty decent. The bounce off here at the 200 moving average is great. But if I go to the daily chart, one thing that still get me concerned is that right now the TA is looking bad, it's still trending down. There's a rejection here at the 20 moving average, which is not great. Okay, so I'm okay to buy shares here because I have unlimited holding power. Okay, I have unlimited holding power, so I will hold on to it. When will I start buying call options? Is when I see the price start to head upwards. Okay, break through the 200 moving average. I'm going to extrapolate here. Break through the 200 moving average and find some support here. That is where I will feel more comfortable entering call options, to buy long-term call options. Because to buy long-term call options, I want the trend to be on my end already. Okay, so this is one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is the low becoming higher. Right? So what do I mean? For example, you can see back in 2022. Okay, coming out here, 2022. Okay, so can you see, this is a very long drawn bear market. Okay, it was low become lower, become lower, become lower, become lowest. Okay, right? But the tide starts to change when we see the low become higher. Right? So this is the standard technical analysis, lower low, higher low. So this is a downtrend, lower low, but once it got higher low, this is an uptrend. So for me, at least, even if it doesn't break through the 200 moving average just yet, I want to see a higher low situation where it is more confirmation for uptrend. Then I'll start entering call options. Okay, so there is always a time to enter call option, but I would say right now is not the best time. Okay, but once again, does it stop me from investing? No, right? Investing, be flexible. I'm not entering call option at this moment in time, but I'm definitely looking at buying shares already. Why? Because, and I've shown this multiple times, and I think it's worth repeating, is that if you invest, right, and you just miss out some of the good days. For example, can you see over here, if you're fully invested in S&P 500, you just buy S&P 500, you are 9.4% annualized return. Okay, but if you happen to be cheeky and you want to, miss out, okay, you want to, now I'm going to enter now, maybe I'll enter later and things like that, right? Once you miss a little bit, you miss out just 10 days. 10 days. Okay, your return will drop from 9.4% all the way to 5.2%. Almost get cut into half, right? And if you miss another 20 days, oh my gosh, your return is even worse. So what this chart is showing us is that it is much better for you to just invest and be invested and invest more when the market is dropping. I think that is the most important thing. Okay? Okay, let me answer some questions here. Okay, Shehui is asking, do you close your sell put option early? Not really. Maybe I'll close it like, let's say, tonight, because tomorrow is Friday, right? It's Good Friday, there's no market. Maybe I'll close it tonight if it's expiring today, right? So usually I will only close it very close to expiry so that I milk the full time decay if I can. Okay, I will milk the full time decay. Okay, Eddie has a great question. He said, is it possible for a sell put option to be exercised early and why? Yes, the answer is yes. Why can be many different reasons. A lot of times what happens is that maybe the share price has fallen a lot, right? Then therefore the person want to exercise on you. But overall, I would say just make sure that you have the funds in hand, right? That's why just now when we sell the NVIDIA put option at 80, the main thing I ask you guys is how much funds must you have to set aside? $8,000. So even if you get exercise early, so be it. Okay? In fact, after you get exercise early, what should you do? Right? You can start to look at selling call options already. Okay? Okay, let's see. Okay, Michael asked, my sell put for Hood at 45 expiry today. Okay, let's take a look. So Hood is here. Okay, let's see. Sell put at 45. Wow, that's very, very far, my dear. Michael, that's very, very far. When do you sell the put? I don't understand. Are you sure it's 45? Probably different number? Wait. Oh, did I get this wrong? Wait. Let me just check my chart again. I think my chart is off. Wait. Give me a second. Okay. 45. Okay, you probably sold it in March. Okay. So yes, I would say yes, you can roll. You can roll it back down to maybe 41, 42, right? Because right now we are here. So 45, 41 is not too far. So definitely I will roll for sure. Okay. Good question. Okay. So Junesh is asking, what's the worst case scenario for option? How much is the damage? Okay, so let's say just now we talk about you sell put options. Okay, let's go back to Nvidia. So this one, everyone must take note. If you sell Nvidia for $80, the max worst case scenario is you have to buy Nvidia at $80. Now, what's the worst case scenario if Nvidia goes to zero? Okay. Now, do you think it's possible? I wouldn't say it's impossible, but I think it's very, very, very unlikely. Okay. But let's say if it really happens, Nvidia goes to zero, then what's your max damage? $8,000. Okay, because one put option is 100 shares. That's it. All right. Okay, fantastic. Okay. So right now, for those of you who want to, okay, I know some of you are asking me how to open a Webull account. Okay, so if you want to open a Webull account, right, what I would suggest is right now, actually, they have a very good promotion. Okay, you can go to this link over here, all right, or scan the QR code, right? You can actually sign up for Webull. Right, like I said, right now, the promotion is quite good, right? I wish I'm a new user. Okay, I wish I'm a new user. Okay, I show you what's the promotion. Okay, so once you click on the link, you'll come back to here, right? And if you scroll down, yeah, so over here, right? So right now they have a $60 Apple voucher if you deposit $2,000. So that's why, right, guys, right now, if you look at Apple shares is actually cheap. So when they say they give you $60 worth of Apple share, they give you more. Okay, so you want to get this Apple share when the price is lower. If the price is high, right, they still give you $60 worth, but fewer shares already. Okay, fewer shares already. So if you deposit $2,000 or more, and do 3 buy trades, okay, over here, you can get $60. If you deposit 10,000, you get 300, and if you're bigger account, 100,000, you get 600 Apple shares. Okay, all right. And right now, what they have is they have first month commission free for US stocks. Okay, for those of you who do options, right? If you trade a lot, okay, I'm not one of them, but let's say if you do, okay, if you really trade a lot, 100 contracts per month type, right? You actually don't need to pay commission. Zero. Nada. Okay, right? Quite interesting. Okay, and for Singapore stocks, that's how I talk about DBS shares, right? If you're looking at buying DBS shares, for example, right? Singapore stocks right now, actually, they have a commission free, right? For 1 year. 1 year. So you don't need to pay any commission to buy Singapore stocks. Okay? All right. Let me see anything else. Yeah, so these are the standard level free, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so their options I really like. Because right now, their fees for options is like 55 cents. Even if you don't trade 100, it's only 55 cents. It is the lowest over here. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's it. So if you want, you can go to the link right here. And this is the QR code. Okay. You can actually get their current promotion of free Apple shares if you deposit minimally $2,000. And you also get first month. What is that? Let me just double check. First month US stock commission free. Okay. And Singapore stocks commission free for 1 year. Okay, any questions? Let me just check the chat column. Okay, Daniel says, I did a buy call for SPY expiring December 27. Wow, December 27, so long. That's good, you know, that's good. Okay, so if you have something that's December 27, I would say just leave it. Don't need to do anything too fancy. Just leave it. Okay. Don't be too don't be too let me put this up here. Okay. Then y'all can see the whole QR code over here. Okay. In fact, if I were you, when the market start to rebound, right, then I add one more. Okay, then I add another one. Okay. Let me see. Any other questions? Wow, Celine asked a very hard to answer question. Confirm, is it time to buy XLE? Oh, hey, you know what is Donald Trump's objective? So I always say, don't trade against the government. Okay. You know what's Donald Trump's objective? His objective is to produce less oil, cheaper oil. Okay, and that's why you see oil prices dropping, right? Let's look at oil prices. So if you type Brent oil right now, right, oil prices has been coming down. So no, I won't be buying XLE at this point in time. Yeah, not something that I would consider. Okay. Madeline say, if my cost is 120, okay, I think you're referring to NVIDIA. Should I average down? Okay, so it depends on your portfolio. Like I said, each one person's portfolio is different, right? I'm not able to tell you should you average down or not. But importantly, ask yourself, are you convicted that NVIDIA is a good business? Number one. Okay. If it is, then number two, how much NVIDIA do you already have in your portfolio? Is it still a very small amount? Then you can say, oh, I want to add it up maybe to 10% of portfolio. But if it's like a huge proportion of portfolio, like 30, 40%, then do you want to add more, to the portfolio? Maybe not, right? So just to think about the risk management aspect on your own. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Simply Gorgeous. Wow, what a nice name. What to do with Alphabet sell put 175 expiring tonight? Okay, let's try that. Okay, so Alphabet is still Google in the ticker symbol. Okay, all right. So 175, very, very straightforward. If you want, you can just buy the share at 175. And then later on, you can look at selling call options. But if you feel that, hey, this is not what I want to do, okay, I want to not buy at 175, maybe I just want to buy at 153, can I do that as well? You absolutely can. Okay, so let me just show you on the how to do that on the Webull app. Okay. Okay, so let's go into the Google. Okay, look at options. All right. So yours is 175 expiring tonight, right? So let's look at the premium first. Okay. So put is on the right side. So we look at 175. So your premium is like $21. Okay, $21. All right. So what you can do is, okay, if I need to roll it, I will roll it to try 16 May. Okay. Can I get $21 somewhere? Wow, it's still the same. My goodness. Let me just double check. 21. Yeah, it's 21. 20.9. Okay. Then if I sell 29. Yeah. So what you can do is you can probably roll it to 1 month later, and you can roll it perfectly at 175 still and not pay extra premium. Can you see here? At 175, it's still 21.8. Okay. Right. Which is a bit high. So let's look at maybe May, 9th May. Yeah, it's still 175. So right now, quite interesting. Even if you roll, right, it's not like you can roll down the price. Yeah, you can't really roll down the price. So you're just buying time. So if you want to buy time to let Google appreciate, you say, hey, I don't want to buy it now, I don't want to buy it later. Okay, then by all means, you can actually go and sell a put. Okay, sell a put here, 175, $21.90. Right, that will cover you closing the one that's expiring today. Okay, right. So that's something that you can consider if you want to roll. All right. Okay, Steven asked, what's the difference between Alphabet A and Alphabet C? It's just voting rights. Just voting rights. Not much difference. Not much difference. Even the price is very similar. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Eva is asking, can you use SRS for Singapore stocks? You can usually use SRS. Unfortunately, I think Webull doesn't allow funding SRS, but you can use other Singapore local brokerages. I think only a few local brokerages can allow you to do that. Okay. All right. Okay, Steve asks, can go for a leap call on NVIDIA now? Hey, Steve, have you been listening to what I'm saying or not? I personally wouldn't. I want to see that the recovery trend is a lot stronger, it's a lot clearer first. But am I against buying shares? No, I'm not. Okay, I'm not against buying shares at all. All right. Okay. So let's see. Any other questions you all may have? No other questions. Okay, Ma has one question. If I got Google at 180, where can I sell call? Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, Google at 180. Is it today? Oh no, Google at 180. Oh, your share price. Okay. Sell call 180. Okay. So can you see over here? You can still do sell call 180 on the 16th May, and you still can get like 50 cents, Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, right? You still can get 50 cents. So how much is that? Let me see. 50 cents divided by 180. Yeah, you still get like 0.3%, not bad. Okay, so if you want, you can do that. You can sell call on your original entry price. That's fine as well. Yeah. Right. In fact, right now I would say if you have shares of company, just be very careful when you sell call options, because we have all seen how much the market can jump. Okay, I don't know if you all remember that. All right, how much the market can jump, right? On a day when Donald Trump says something. So you can see over here for Google, right? When Donald Trump gave the good news, on one day, boom, it jumped like 10%. Okay. So that's why when I'm selling my put options, I'm selling far away. Right. For my Nvidia, I'm selling like 20% away. Right. Same if I'm selling call options, I want to sell far away because I don't want my options to get caught away so easily. All right. My shares get caught away so easily. Okay. All right. How do we register for Webull? Okay. So this is the Webull link. Once again, rebrand.ly/IWP Webull. Okay. Or maybe let me add the link in the chat one more time. Okay, so this is the Webull link. I'm adding it to the chat right now, right? And or you can scan the QR code. You can open a Webull account over here. Okay, all right. Okay, let me see. Any other questions? Okay, if not, the market is already open. Please go and do your trades if you need to. But otherwise, I hope this has been useful for you. And really don't need to panic too much about the market. The most important thing here is that you want to be calm and know that this is not the first crash. It will not be the last crash. And this will not be the end of the world, even though the world seems to think so. Right? We all felt that the world was ending when there's COVID. We felt that the world was ending when there's global financial crisis. We felt that the world was ending back in 2022 as well, when the market fell by 30% in over a year. And we felt that the world was ending during the dot-com bust. But we all came back stronger. Okay? Right? So the important thing here is to remember that the market is never different. A lot of people keep saying, Pete, you don't understand. This time is different. And I want to tell you, in my personal opinion, I do not think this time is different. The only thing that's different is the people investing in it, right? So right now, the news cycle is getting faster and faster. So whenever there's a bit of a news, right, the reaction will come very fast. Okay. In fact, I am personally monitoring Trump, just for fun. Okay. I'm personally monitoring Trump on his social media. Okay. Hey guys, do you know what is Donald Trump's main social media? What is Donald Trump's main social media? See whether you all got follow him. Okay. Yeah, it's actually on Truth Social. It's not on Twitter anymore. Okay. So over here, this is where I put an alert, right? So when Donald Trump announce anything, I will be able to see it firsthand. But one thing is this, maybe you also don't want to get yourself too up to date to all the news so that you will not be panicking. But what you want to focus on is, hey, right now the prices are low. Prices have come down. Can I start buying some things, right? Or like for those of you who are on the Webull app, is can I just maybe use RSP, right? I want to use dollar cost average. Can I start dollar cost averaging into this? Okay, right? Because if you can take this with a very strong perspective and say, hey, I'm okay to buy this regularly, right? So for example, over here, if you click at the dotted line at the bottom, okay, you can look at the RSP, regular savings plan, right? You can set an amount, you can set $100 to buy every week on a Monday or whatever, or you can use a dynamic amount, up to you, okay? And just set and forget, so that this removes the emotion from your investing, right? You will just keep on buying the company that you like. In this case is Google, right? $100 every week, $100 every week. The lower, the better, because when the price is lower, you are still buying $100. So you're buying more units. You're buying more shares, okay? Even though in this case it's fractional shares, right? So you're buying more units, okay? Do everything you can to help yourself to remove yourself from the emotional turmoil that is happening in the market right now, okay? And I think that you will come out much better at the end of the journey. All right. Okay. The big difference is that Trump is the president. But guess what? He will be over eventually so. Okay. Right. He'll be over eventually. All right. Okay. So let me talk about the last thing. Yes, I think some of you are looking at this as well. And I'm personally looking at this. So for those of you who are not aware, the Japan has started this thing. Okay, called switching their funds, to not buy foreign equities. In this case, they are specifically talking about China shares, China equities. Okay, so just be very mindful. They are not a small player. They are the largest retirement pension fund right now. Okay, so when they say they cannot buy China shares, that is going to be a big blow, right, to the Chinese market. But Chinese market do have good companies. It's just that once again, the rule and regulation is a bit iffy, right? So if you think that Donald Trump is very, very bad, right, regardless of what he does, he cannot go down to the company and say, hey, you, everybody give me like how much money per year. Hey, but China, they can, you know, right? So just be very mindful. I think there will still be good opportunities every now and then, but right now, maybe Trump has managed to swing Japan onto their side and say, hey, you want to, you know, talk about tariff, right? Maybe you can help me pressure China a bit. That's what I think is happening right now. Okay, I think this is not the best for everybody. I think the free trade, everybody can trade whatever you want and buy whatever you want is the best. But for those of you who are buying Chinese companies, right, just take note, there might be some selling pressure coming up. Okay, let me just check for you guys if the China market is coming down. I hope not. I hope not. Yeah, we're not seeing that yet. Okay, so today actually China is up. Okay, so you can see KWEB is up 1.2, FXI up. Right, so not too bad. They are shrugging off the good news lah. Okay, so that's good. Okay, all right. Yeah, so Celine says this very good. I think this is the main message I want all of you to have is that, hey, if you buy good companies, stay cool, go and sleep, right? In fact, if the price come down lower, go and buy more, right? Go and buy more. Okay, all right. If not, that's all I have for this live stream. Now, once again, for those of you who are in my Stock Market Genius community, I'm going to send out more of my safety trades. I already sent out 2 today already, right? Tonight I'll look at it a few more, but because it's a short trading week, right? So tomorrow there will not be anything, right? Look out for any new ideas on the Monday. And this month, April, the Stock on Spotlight is also coming out next week as well. Okay, so for those of you who are on my Stock Market Genius, do watch out for these 2 things. And for those of you who want to join Stock Market Genius, I also welcome you to join us as well. You can find the link in my where's the link? Let me just type it here. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is the link. All right, so you can find the link in the chat as well. All right, I will most welcome all of you here who needs guidance and you want to invest in a very strong community. Right, over here we don't judge each other. Right, if you lose money in the past, that's okay. Over here we want to teach you how to be a better investor going forward and learn how to control your finances and invest for better profits in the future. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys. Right, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye bye.